welcome back to another episode of the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast.
Woo!
Sean and Dana are with you once again. What's going on, man?
8 days until we leave.
8 days.
Woo-hoo. 8 days.
Well, I'm feeling good because I'm looking good.
Yes.
Big shout out to Hawaii Cornhole
Absolutely.
for sending us these jerseys out of nowhere. They're freaking amazing.
We're looking sexy.
So, Rich Norman, you're the man. Thank you very much. Obviously, I'm rocking my Airwolf Athletics hat to go with it. It's perfect with it.
Yes, sir. As am I.
All right. Well, before we get into everything, we have a little tradition on the show in case it's the first time you're ever watching it. So, Dane, don't break tradition. Tell everyone what we're sipping on tonight in a segment we call What You Drinking.
What you drinking?
Well, I figured 8 days away, we got to prep.
We do.
So, let's bust out some Miller Lights. It's actually, we have never reviewed a Miller Light on the show.
I thought it would be
so
good. We have to stay hydrated, people.
Sean's also got a summer shandy here. So, let it rip. Give us your notes on a summer shandy from Leinenkugel.
So this is Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. It is. I'm not a huge fan of shandies, but this one hits home.
It's
when it's 90 degrees outside, you want something a little bit refreshing.
Yes.
A little bit. It's like mixing a beer with a little bit of lemonade. It's just nothing better.
It's exactly what a shandy
is. It is 4.2% alcohol. I mean, you could drink 100 of these and you might get a little fucked up, but you're gonna stay hydrated more importantly.
You're gonna piss 1,000
and
times.
what I like about this one is it actually quenches your thirst.
Yes, it does.
So Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, it's always a banger.
Could be like a
It's
false...
a summer treat.
It is. I'm gonna let it rip a Miller Lite here. We all know it. It's the best light beer in the world.
How's that first taste?
My God, it never gets old. It's fantastic. I like that it's a light beer that actually has flavor to it.
Yep.
And I'm sure us in the Dogcast will be crushing about 1,000 of these next weekend. So.
And I know Troy Hauser's listening to this in disgust right now because we're drinking Miller Lite, but it's just a superior product. So
it is what it is. There's a reason why it has a gold rim. All right.
And Dane, who brings to us this What You Drinking segment?
That'd be Colorado Cornhole Connection. If you need some sick boards, some score towers, some other stuff, hit them up. iHeartCornhole.com. Use code BIGASS10. Get yourself 10% off.
Well, Cornhole family, we have more excellent Cornhole content planned for you all today. We have bags to review. Up today are 2 series of bags by Vortex Cornhole. We're going to recap the Pro Shootout in Memphis, and then we're going to clarify the Pro Qualification Process, just so we're all on the same page going into the Pro Qualifier and everything. And then we're going to be joined by a trio of future ACL pros. Berklee Pair, Austin Schlobohm, and the girl with blue hair. She needs no other name but Bella. But before we jump into all that, we bring you what's going on in our cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole. That was better.
Yeah. Slip Up was brought to you by Airwolf Athletics. We're wearing it right now. Some sexy, sexy hats on the top of the head. If you want to look half this good, you got to start at the top and work your way down. Go to airwolfathletics.com. Use code BIGASP. Get yourself 10% off.
At this point in your life, if you haven't added a set of the sexiest bags around, you're doing something wrong. That's right, folks. Blackjack Cornhole bags. You get free shipping, amazing customer service. It's really a no-brainer. It's 2021. 21 goes with Cornhole, goes with Blackjack. It's the perfect marriage. Go to blackjackcornhole.com, grab yours today, and code BIGASP will save you 10%. Because we love you. We love you all.
Get cheap bags.
Did you get a chance to throw it all this week?
So I met up with you at the blind draw for a little bit. I didn't make the blind draw, but I still got to get out and throw.
A few cash games, right?
A couple cash games. I feel like I threw pretty damn well. And then also on Saturday, made my way over to Timmy Jonas's housewarming party and got to throw bags late into the night. Did not throw well there. Okay. I think the golf outing beforehand might have had a little bit to do with that.
Thank you, Rinaldi.
Yes. But, got to throw with like Randall Arcangelini and Timmy
nice.
and stuff. So yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. Still had a great time. Got a beautiful home. Got to watch some of the ACL Shootout over there too. So
nice.
It was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Time.
I actually got out of the house to play.
I know.
Last Wednesday I went to the local blind draw. It's held at Flyers Bar and Grill. Cito hosts it. It's pretty. I mean, the competition there is pretty stiff.
I mean, it's the best in our area.
80% of the people there are pro players.
Yeah.
I got paired with none other than Eric Anderson. We got off to a hot start. We both kind of fizzled out at the end. I think we ended up finishing 4th. The last game, we both wish we had some rounds back, but I had fun. I threw tons. All right, so I got to play the blind draw, and then afterwards, I think I played like 6 cash games. I thought I threw pretty well for not throwing like really any competition for like the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Played well. I got to try out the new BG Warlocks.
Heck yeah.
If you like the Wizards and you want something with a little bit more control, I gotta say I was a big fan of the Warlock. I threw it a lot
It's
with
a
the
nice bag.
It
I
is.
like it.
It handles very well. It took me a minute to kind of get used to the fill a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not many more hole forgiving bags on the market right now than that bag.
No, I mean I totally agree. But yeah, I mean it was fun to see you out with everyone. Honestly,
I'm in my element,
man.
man. Like, I'm a social creature. Like, I'm good when I'm out in crowds and get to socialize, and it was great. Like, Gary Burr, right? One of our favorite people. I mean, we were joking. Like, I should have brought, like, 10 outfit changes and then just taken pictures with everyone, just keep changing my shirt.
Exactly.
That way we could have just spread the pictures out all year and made it seem like I was out a bunch, but it is what it is.
Just use the different lighting, you know.
I had fun. It just makes me so much more excited to get to Worlds. 8 days
It's gonna
away.
be a blast.
Absolutely. So, leading into Worlds. All right, let's go ahead and go over the ACL Open that was held in Memphis this past weekend in singles, okay? Adam Hissner gets an emotional win over Kevin Allen. Now, for those of you some of you, if you watched it, I'm sure you heard on the live feed, there is a guy somewhat local to us. He's out more by Adams area. His name was Jimmy. I didn't know Jimmy really well personally,
I've met him a couple of times.
He was at every regional, all the cornhole tournaments that Dave Weiser would run. I know him very well. Like, he would always partner up with Jim LeMaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew of him very well. I knew him and Adam were very tight. Unfortunately, it was kind of a tragic accident. He passed away, I think, last Wednesday or Thursday. Adam, you could tell, was playing with a little chip on his shoulder. I like seeing that. It was a great story. You know what I mean? It was a feel-good story. I think that you can never go wrong with that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it was his to lose at that point. You know, he had a little help on his side, but
I'm not gonna lie though.
Yeah, we also said Hissner gets better as the season goes on.
He does,
and it showed in this. But Kevin Allen, man, speak about him for a second.
Kevin Allen was on fire. His match against Ryan Windsor was awesome to watch. I don't think he did not miss an airmail. I think he was either 5 for 5 or 6 for 6.
And that's the Kevin Allen we see all the time. That dude's airmail is
We've been talking about him all year as like this guy that...
And he's having a great season.
Again, no one's really heard... He's having a great double season, a very solid single season as a first-year pro that nobody had heard of. Yeah. And then when he went to the pro qualifier, he was the one guy like, who the fuck's this guy? He is a just steady Eddie down the middle. He plays a block airmail game. He's a very cerebral player.
Shot, though, too.
He is.
A little cut.
Now, I think he surprised the shit out of Windsor. I think if you asked Windsor before the match, you know, if you put the truth serum on, he probably thought he was strolling in playing Windsor.
Yeah.
Kevin Allen had other plans. I'm sorry, yeah. Kevin Allen played a phenomenal game. He had all the shots he needed to. I thought going into the finals, he was playing better than Hissner was, because Hissner really didn't play his best game against Hadley in the semifinals.
No, Hadley left some bags for him.
Well, so did Hissner, though. Yeah. I mean, Hissner could have taken it and run away with it, and so could Hadley. I mean, I thought really both of them missed some key opportunities for big point chances. But I just taking away from it, Hissner, it was bound to happen. He's taken second place a bunch when he gets on the big stage. He's a great player. He played his game, and in the finals, he was a man on the mission. You could just tell he was done, 100% done taking second place. But again, hats off, Kevin Allen. You're a boy. Kyle, we love you. I was so pumped when I was watching the match against Kevin versus Ryan Windsor in the semifinals. I was going apeshit.
Yeah,
I was going nuts. And my
mother
and
father.
Oh my god, dude!
Awesome.
I was so pumped. But okay, so obviously Ryan Windsor, Bill Hadley, they tied for third. They lost in the semifinals, and rounding out, tied for fifth place was Zaft, McGuffin, Eric Anderson, and Power. Okay, it was a pretty solid top five. I mean, some pretty big name people.
I mean, Power once again near the top,
knocking on the door.
I was super happy to see Doug Zaft back up there because you know he's actually having a very good year.
They both are.
Yeah, I mean him and Hadley have really showed out a lot this year, and it was cool.
I made a comment earlier, and I think even in one of my previews where I think it was when I was going over like the end of the year like recap, where I was talking about the doubles team, and I used Zaft and Hadley as like an improbable run to making it there. I didn't mean it as Zaft and Hadley are a bad team. I meant it as
They're just
where
not really
they were
well.
ranked
Yeah.
currently. You have not seen that huge leap from anybody else this season. So that's the point I was trying to make. You don't really see, especially in doubles, like really low ranked teams rise through the ranks all of a sudden one national come from nowhere.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen all that often.
It doesn't. I mean, we
But
talked
they're
about
both
how
very good
dominant
players.
The top,
Yeah.
how many teams?
Well, they've
have
been running shit on the West Coast for a while. I mean, they're
Yeah.
very good players. So so singles. Congrats to Adam Hissner.
Yes.
And Kyle Allen, Kevin Allen, we love you. But yeah, it was a great showing. It was good. It was entertaining matches to watch.
Very much so. Yeah, it was not a boring shootout at all. I was thoroughly impressed by everyone's play the whole weekend.
Absolutely.
I thought it was some damn good cornhole being played out there.
And then we had doubles.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons I like the open events. I'm not a huge fan of the round limited stuff, but I like the hodgepodge and mixing and matching of all the partners. You had Power and Sutton win over Human and Hog. Now Human and Hog, obviously they're pro partners. If I looked at that going into the finals, I would have thought they probably win only because they're used to playing together.
Yeah.
I think they're again a team that's been knocking on the door all season. They're just not there, but you have two of the guys individually who've been playing lights out. You have Sutton and Power, who have both been knocking on the door most recently.
Yeah.
And they put it together,
They really
and
did.
it was an epic finals match. It was a great finals match.
Yeah, I was again very happy to see Power finally bring it home, get the monkey off his back.
And
Dave Sutton, dude, like
Dude, he's been getting
dude,
hot at the right
guy,
time.
The guy's impressive.
Yeah, he is. So Power and Sutton went over Human and Hog, so that was 1 and 2. In third place was Langworthy and Modlin, an interesting team.
Yeah.
Langworthy making his triumphant comeback this year after a long hiatus. After he kind of went out on top, took a few years off. He's kind of had like an under the radar season. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
I think the level of competition now compared to when he won Worlds it's way deeper now, so it's just a little bit harder to win. But it shows the level of talent he has.
Oh, yeah.
And Frank Modlin, it's just steady Eddie. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's always going to kind of be in the mix.
The thing with Frank Modlin, he's never going to give up more than like a 3.
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I mean he's hard to
He's just
beat.
always around the hole with those
Yep.
fucking bags. They just find the hole.
That they do.
And then who else was there? And then you had an interesting pair
Yeah,
from Texas.
Peters.
You had Ricky Gonzalez and AJ Sims.
I'm sorry, I skipped one.
It's okay. So Ricky Gonzalez, if you're not super familiar, you should be, because we have talked about him and his partner, Turpin.
Yeah,
Turpin.
Turpin.
They've been playing phenomenally well. It's a doubles team. Ricky Gonzalez partners up with AJ Sims, one of the Texas GOAT crew. AJ Sims, again, as a doubles player, is having a very solid season. I think they're currently tied for 9th or something like that. Another top 10 finish. Singles-wise, he's been a little bit off it, but again, in doubles, he's kind of found his home this year. They made an impressive run. They're both being from Texas. I don't know how often they've ever played together, but they must have had decent chemistry. They
Yeah.
must have liked similar bags because they had a solid outing.
Pull up the third.
Then tied
fifth.
for 5th, yes.
Yeah, we
Go
got.
ahead.
I mean, Allison Peters and Clemmer.
Yep.
I mean, need I say more?
Allison Peters had a nice weekend.
I mean, to me, she's one of the best females in the game by far.
Yep.
And yeah, I know you're all high up on Cheyenne Renner, but I mean, I think Peters is right there with her.
Well, what were we waiting to see from Peters though? We were waiting to see, can she close it out, and
Yeah.
she did it this weekend.
And she did, yeah.
So to me, that gives her a boost. I mean, once you get that first win, that first step in the right direction, I mean, that's all you need sometimes is light a fire under your ass, and then you're confident stepping up to the board, and you can say to yourself, hey, I've been here, done that.
Yep, I can beat anyone.
You had Zaft Hadley, tied
Yep.
for 5th. Kevin Allen, again, very solid with Jacob Beamer. And then you had Double D and Philip Hayden. Again,
Almost took it.
they're a team they're gonna be a tough out at Worlds. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I
they're
agree.
both playing very well. I think this round limited stuff gets difficult
Yeah.
in a 21 match. Anything can happen, really. I think those guys are gonna be really tough to beat.
Heck yeah. Then the women's closed out Allison Peters
Yep.
with a win over Christine Papke. So happy to see Christine
Yeah.
back there. I mean, she is way too good to not be up there all the time. So I'm very happy that she got just on the main stage again this season, and I think there's more to come.
Papke's been so dominant on the female circuit for so long. It was only bound for her to have like some sort of a hiccup year.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm not saying she's out of it. I mean, she's way too good for that.
Yeah.
But she had a little bit of a down year this year. I mean, we'll call it a hiccup, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think travel woes and like COVID obviously.
Dude, it's been a
didn't help
weird year
anything.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So But again, I was very happy to see. It was a great match again, between her and Peters in the final, back and forth. Again, if it wasn't round limited, who knows what happens?
Yeah.
But I was really happy. It was a nice Cleveland weekend. It was a lot of Cleveland representation there, so which was nice to see. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the bag review. I'm actually excited for this one. The bag review is brought to you by Bagsboard, the maker of the original cornhole bag backpack. You looking for sweet-ass patches to go on that bag? Well, guess what? Bagsboard makes the best around. Visit bagsboard.com and grab yours today. Another person I'm crazy excited to meet at Worlds, Nick Feinstein, the sexy owner of Bagsboard. I can't wait to meet and enjoy a few beverages with him.
Adult libations.
And we just happen to be reviewing some bags today by Vortex Cornhole. The owner of Vortex Cornhole is a studly young man by the name of Joshua Zeller, who we just also found out is also going to be joining us at the Worlds.
Yes, sir!
Oh my God. When I got that text, my wife could just be like, why are you in such a good mood? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's good. We're cool. All my favorite people are going to be in one place.
It's been a while since a man's gotten me a little aroused. That text did it. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Josh.
it.
Okay, so Vortex Cornhole. We've reviewed several other bags in the past. These are the two newest bags, and I believe they're both going to be pro-stamped for next year.
Oh, yeah.
We've thrown these bags this week. We actually literally just threw them.
Had nice weather.
Little match outside just to kind of refresh ourselves. So I'm going to take Zone. I'll let you take Twister, and we'll kind of just rip off it.
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to start with Zone. This is Zone, the sexy little bag with this gorgeous logo that just happens to be ours. If you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, if you're listening to us, we always love that. But if you ever want to see our faces during the episode, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to Big Asp Cornhole, and you can find all the episodes on YouTube. Okay, so Zone. This is I want to call it a dual slick, but the slow side you can control it.
I think that slow side too.
It's going to slow down a little bit. Yeah, so we'll call it like a control bag, but it has a very slick side. So you have the slow side, which is Widow-esque, and then you have the fast side, which is Viper. These are two of my favorite materials in the game right now. I love the slow side. It plays 7.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a 7. It's going to slow down to a 6.
But your boards are playing fast tonight. So, I mean, 6, 7, right around there. The slick side is Viper slick side, so we know that plays like a 9.
Yep.
I've said this 1,000 times. I love Viper slick side because it doesn't take long for that stuff to break down.
I mean, that bag was already breaking down when we were throwing it.
It plays true in humidity. It slides great. This bag, I was able to get it to cut a little bit. It pushes great. It was very hole friendly. I was airmailing it very well. My favorite thing about this bag, and I think I was even raving when we were throwing it, the template.
Yes.
I absolutely loved his new template that he does. It is like... It's like a flattened out Reynolds type template.
Yeah.
It's not as full. It plays a little bit flatter. It's a very rounded bag. It came out of my hands great. The first few bags, I think I even was saying out there, I'm like, I throw some of the flattest bags with this right now.
The bag naturally wants to come out flat.
It does.
It feels like.
And I don't know if it has to do with his fill.
Yeah.
You made a good point, and I think that was the fill that I was kind of thinking of. You compared it to somebody. Who was it?
I compared it to the Gladiator fill that they have with those like flat resin in there.
Yeah, like that power pellets they call it. It's not quite that because it doesn't clump together quite as much. But I get that similar feel in my hand.
Sits,
yeah, it does. It does. And when I go to throw and release it, I don't feel any of the resin like sliding around, where it tends to kind of want to pull out of my hand.
Yeah.
I love the feel in this. Zone is. I threw it really well too.
You did, yeah.
I won the match, so that helps. So it's already gonna bump it up a little bit.
He won. That was a moral victory for him.
I definitely won. But yeah, I really liked it. Again, slow side we'll call it like a 7. Slick side we're calling it a 9. It's gonna change up a little bit in conditions, but we know the slick side's gonna stay pretty true at a 9. It's got a rounded template. It's not a huge bag. I'd say it's like a medium-sized bag. It's not huge. It doesn't feel small. It doesn't feel large in your hand. It comes out of your hand so nice. But super hole forgiving. It's only going to get better as it breaks in. I was a big fan.
All right, let's start off with performance.
You want to start with performance?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it. Let's switch it up.
I'm going to go pretty high on this. I even said it to you before.
Yeah.
I think I could see myself regularly throwing this.
Yeah.
He's really thinking. Okay, because I don't want to throw it up I don't want to just throw out big numbers just because I like the bag, but I did really like this one, and I liked giving high scores to bags where I'm like, if I saw this bag in my trunk, would I gravitate to
justifying it and just tell us your
pulling
score
it out?
already?
88.
All right, I'm gonna go in the 80s too. Honestly, I'm gonna go flat 80 on it.
Okay.
And it's not my cup of tea per se, but I was sinking them when I was throwing it, and it is a hole friendly as shit bag.
It is.
I mean, you could throw it any which way. If you're throwing it straight, that thing's dropping no matter what. So yeah, I mean, I was
and
a
if
fan
you
of
go
it.
past the hole, it has a tendency to kind of creep back a little bit, even
that.
on the slower side.
Does that?
Now the
toilet
design
bowl
factor.
shot.
Design factor.
Yeah.
It's our logo
100.
with a
Just stop. 100.
awesome paint splatter background. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah,
We
100.
don't
It's
even
just
need.
nasty.
Yeah, it's
Nasty.
100.
It's nasty.
sexy
Just
as
so
fuck.
y'all can see it. It's just nasty. Awesome. Well, Josh, well done. I was a big fan of this bag. You said I would be, just because you know kind of the bags I like to play. And you were right. I love the new template you came out with. That's
Yes.
what I want to keep hammering home. It's a little bit of a different template than you'll see out there, and the seam work on these bags is clean. You can tell this
Sexy
motherfucker's
AF.
been sewing bags like crazy.
Um,
Okay, so
Alright.
next up is Twister,
we got the Twister.
a carpet bag.
Carpet bag. You said I was going to take this one, so
Go ahead.
let me take
I'm
it.
sorry,
All right,
I'm sorry.
Jesus, stepping on my toes
I'm
over
sorry.
here.
I get excited.
All right, so Vortex Twister. It's a carpet bag, as Sean so rudely interrupted, but it's not a carpet that we're used to seeing. Actually, it's unique, but not in like a.
Oh my god.
Not in like the way it feels in your hand, if that makes sense. It's unique that it's a carpet that we haven't seen, but plays just like carpet.
Do you think it's gonna fuzz up a lot?
I could see it fuzzing up a bit,
But I don't get that sense.
but
You know what I mean?
not
I don't know
like-
why.
Not a ton though. But honestly, closest carpet I could compare this to is definitely Reynolds. It's not Reynolds, but
You know what else it kind of compared
slides
to?
like Reynolds.
I thought it was similar to the WTF Foxtrot.
a little bit, yeah.
The you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that
that Pro
kind of carpet,
Advantage-ish type material a little bit.
Yeah, I can
Plays
see
a little
that.
bit slower than that.
Yeah, so like this carpet's sitting probably like I'll put it as a solid 4.
Okay.
And then slick side is the same as the slow side on the zone. So this guy's gonna be playing like a 7 right
Yeah.
now. Could probably slow down in the future, but all in all, this bag, Sean's been hammering it home. The template is the key and the fill. It just wants to come out of your hand flat.
And for a carpet bag, he didn't overly stuff it, which
No,
I like.
yeah.
It's not a super floppy thin bag, but I don't tend to like big, full, heavy carpet bags. For
Yeah,
it
but
just
it's not loose. This thing's tightly sewn, so like all the fill stays packed.
and
up
the
in your
materials are
palm.
going to stretch a little bit, and then
Yeah.
that's what's really going to break it down. But you know what I mean? It's not like a fat. It doesn't feel. It's not going to clog the hole.
Yeah, but
That's what I'm
this bag needs a little bit more love than the zone. It's
Yeah.
going to take a little bit longer to break in, but once it does, this thing's going to be a freaking beaut.
Yep.
And I was a big fan. You can hit all the shots you want with it. It'll do the cut. It'll do the roll. You can do reverse cut with it. It'll hit an airmail. So, it's a good bag all in all. I was a big fan. So performance score for me on this one, I'm gonna give this one an 87.
Okay. I actually threw this well too. I didn't get to play a match with this one, but just screwing around with it.
Yeah.
I can tell for me if a carpet is going to do what I want to do. Again, I don't throw a big cut shot, so I don't really move my bag right to left very well, but I've been really working hard on actually getting a more left to right kick to even bully bags. Got people that play me a lot. They know if they throw a blocker to my side, it'll throw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't throw a cut shot, so I've been really trying to perfect that left to right kick going around that. This bag did this very, very well. It does move, it grabs. Again, I thought your boards were playing a little faster than they normally do.
Yeah.
So it wasn't cutting quite as much, but on slower bags or slower boards, this bag's going to do
I'll
wonders.
tell you what, that carpet was slinking into the hole though.
No, that's what I'm saying. It reminded me of like a Reynolds hole forgiving. Do you remember why
Yeah.
we bought Reynolds the first time we ever did?
We were just watching melt right in.
Yeah, we were sick of playing in league, and we were throwing. Again, this is not a knock. We were throwing BG controls,
Yeah.
right, which is a suede and like a slide right type
It was
material.
a great bag.
It was a great bag, but we were playing against people who were throwing Reynolds Pro Advantage, and we kept seeing this fucking thing just slip into the hole everywhere. So we're like, that's it. We got to go find this. Like, what the fuck do we need to do? That kind of reminded me a little bit of
Yeah,
it.
I agree. 'Cause
And as it breaks down, it's only going to get better.
Yeah, for sure.
So I thought You said the carpet you saw it played like a 4. I thought it played a little bit faster, only because I didn't feel like I really had to throw like a dart at it.
So in my defense, I went from throwing suede to throwing that.
No,
So
no,
I
I know.
was
That's what I'm saying.
throwing it, like,
I'm just
low and
saying, for
hard to
me,
begin
I would
with.
say like 4.5.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as slow as some of the other carpet bags I've thrown. It does slide a little bit, so maybe just a hair faster than some of the other ones.
Okay.
All right, so let's go with design score first.
Hundo.
So
100.
obviously, I knew you were gonna do that because you have
HDP logo on it.
hard drag push logo. He slapped around the front and orange twister
Yeah,
cyclone
it's got
type
this
design.
sexy ass color scheme to it. It'll stick out like a sore thumb on a board. 100.
Yeah.
Easily.
Performance.
I already gave my performance.
Would you give it?
188.
88. Now take in mind this is a carpet bag. I'm gonna go 81.
All right.
I both of these bags again. I think it's the template and the fill that I really liked in these. That I think these are going to be a big bag. I think these are going to catch on a lot.
Agree, yeah.
And listen, hop on the train early because we've seen what happens to these companies when all it takes is one bag for people to really start gravitating to, and then the floodgates open, and then you can't get the shit for too long.
Yeah. And
Josh is a one-man
makes a mean
band.
bag.
He makes a mean bag, but if you get on the train early, break these bags in, and they're going to be stamped soon
Yeah.
enough. So get it in, try it, and it's such a reasonable price. I think it's like $65 maybe.
Can't beat it in
No, you
today's
can't.
market.
No, hell no. And I'm telling you, these bags are worth. These are pro quality bags, 100%. All right.
How are we doing on time?
Doing fine.
All right.
Okay. So what I wanted to do next was just to clarify this pro qualification process. Let's go over a few things. Okay.
You want point one?
You can take pro. You
Just
can take point.
go
So
ahead,
there's
start us off.
there's 4 ways that an individual can qualify to be a pro. Okay. So ACL pros for the 2020-2021 season who finish in the top 100 of the ACL singles, so top 100 singles finish, or top 50 of the ACL pro doubles will automatically be eligible for the 2022 season. Okay, so if you finish top 100 or in singles, top 50 in doubles, you're guaranteed a spot.
Now, what about those that are singles and doubles?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so that like eliminates more
Correct.
people. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that question because that'd be the first one that popped up.
And then so the second way, a minimum of the top 24 in the ACL open standings. Okay, so this is separate, not the pro rankings, but the open standings, who do not qualify as an ACL pro will be allowed to become an ACL pro for the 2021-2022 season. So, if you look at the rankings, right, in the in the open bracket rankings, you'll see, I think number 1 currently is Jamie Graham. I can't remember who number 2 is. But then number 3, I believe, is Alex Hicks. He's a junior player out of Kansas City area. And then I believe at number 6 is Berklee Pair. And then at number 11 is Austin Schlobohm. So we're going to talk to 2 of these guys tonight. And one of the big questions was like, why aren't they going to be playing the pro qualifier? Well, they don't have to because they did well enough in these open events that they're naturally going to go. Like where they're finishing, and they both already received their letters, so they're going to be good to go as pro. Okay. Now, a minimum of 32 spots are going to be open to play for in the ACL World Championships at the Pro Qualifier. All right, this is that big, massive tournament that's going to be on Sunday morning at the ACL.
512 players.
There are up to 512 players. 2 players in this tournament are going to go 8-0. 16 players are going to go 7-1. Those 18 players, right, the ones that go 8-0 and 7-2 or 7-1, they're automatically qualified to be a pro. All right, so thank you very much. You did it. Yay. Step over here. You're going to be a pro. Pay your $1,000 and you're good. There are going to be 56 players who are going to be 6-2. These 56 players are going to then be seeded in a single elimination bracket, all right, depending on point differential. Now, depending on your point differential is going to be where you're seated and how many matches you're going to have to win in order to qualify. Because of those 56 players that go into the single elimination bracket, the top 16 from that bracket are also going to qualify. Okay, so if we're doing the math, you have 16 players from this single elimination, and then you have the other, 18 players, so 34. All right, so you have 34 players minimum from this qualifier that are going to make it in the pro. If you're doing the math, you have a 6% chance of making it.
6% chance, and I mean, all that reads to me is 8 wins is key. If you're going to qualify, you're going to have to win 8.
7.
Okay, you can go 7-1, but that's a select few. But I think if you're in that 6-2 area, I think you're going to have to win 2.
Oh yeah. No, I'm saying.
That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
yes,
You got to get to 8 wins.
Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think 8 wins is what's going to get you in.
Yep. Okay, and then the fourth and final way you can go, there may be, now they capitalize may, there may be some spots remaining where players can apply for ACL Pro status through the ACL.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be hard this year.
But we'll have to see. I mean,
they're going to reserve a few spots for people who, like, something happens, they can't make it, a big name. So, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, and I don't know where he finished in the open standings. Let's say somebody like Josh Holland.
Yeah.
He gets 6th this weekend, he can't go. He calls up the ACL and he's like, listen, I've decided I want to go pro next year. They're not going to say no.
No, I mean,
they're not.
The guy's too good.
The ACL wants the best players. They want the most marketable players. It is what it is.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Now, what'll be interesting is to see what some of these pros who are knocking on the door, what do they do?
Yeah.
You're not going to know. Some of these pro players are not going to know if they have to go to this pro qualifier until after Saturday sessions are over.
Which is so hard.
They might not know until Saturday night that they have to go and try to qualify to be pro again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take your chance and try to go through the application process, because if you didn't finish in the top 100 in singles or top 50 in doubles, you might not be worth it for them to keep you around.
I agree.
Do you think it's important to have certain people in the game who are not necessarily the best players, but they're great ambassadors for the game? Or do you think that should be a separate role entirely?
So, I mean, obviously the sport needs great ambassadors, but I think there's other avenues for those ambassadors that they can embrace. But at the same time, they're going to need access into all these tournaments and stuff to talk to, just spectators. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to each one. Obviously, you want the best talent out there, but I mean, some of the talent is lackluster, like when you put a camera in front of them or anything. So, I mean, the marketability is definitely something that needs to be taken into account.
I think years prior to this, it was easier for like a lower level player to hide, and they could maybe do well in like one event and kind of squeak by. The talent is just too deep now, and especially this year was deep enough. But then next year, when you trim the fat even a little bit more, I mean, how deep is the field going to be 2 years from now?
Yeah.
Because all these guys that are coming in new, they're going to be a little bit green, but they're going to be hungry as fuck, and they keep getting better.
Like, how can the ACL be legitimate too in the public's eyes if they're like letting lesser people in just because they're a personality?
I'm not saying they're going to. I was just asking, is that a role? Now, I would also argue the fact that you don't need to be a pro to get invited to all this stuff. You can go to freaking those events and go watch and stuff. We do.
Oh, yeah.
We go to events and interview pro players.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, COVID was obviously a weird year.
That's one of the great things about the sport is that the pros are accessible. I mean, they're just normal people walking around amongst us.
Walk up to them and chit-chat with them.
Absolutely.
They are now, but just wait until they start making billions, Sean. Then we'll never be able to talk to them because they'll be too cool for school.
We'll see. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get some of their matches and talk to some more people, worlds and stuff. But it is just what it is. Wait, what?
Shameless plugs.
Cue the rap horn. All right, reach us at Instagram and Twitter at Big Asp Cornhole.
And Facebook at Big Asp Cornhole Podcast. Jeez, I'm like jumping the gun. I'm not even reading it. I'm just trying to speak. I have it memorized. I just can't get the words out. I'm drinking Miller Lite today too. It's not even shouldn't even affect me. Thanks again to our sponsors. For all your cornhole swag, you got to go to airwolfathletics.com. Use code BIGASP. It'll get you 10% off. And iHeartCornhole.com for the best boards in the business. Code BIGASP10 get you 10% off.
Bagsboard.com for the sexiest backpacks around, and BlackjackCornhole.com for the best, sexiest logo in all of cornhole.
The best, sexiest.
Code BIGASP will save you 10%.
The most sexiest.
The
logo.
most sexiest. Apple Podcast reviews. Drop those reviews. We would greatly appreciate you dropping 5 stars. And if you leave us a picture, you screenshot your review, send it over. We're sending out stickers.
Bang, bang.
The stickers are supposed to be here by the end of this week. I will send them out. I promise you. I know there's like 4 or 5 of you. I promise you they're coming. I was just kind of waiting them in there. be sure to check out harddragpush.com, your one-stop shop for all your cornhole content. I've been slacking a little bit on the content aspect of it. I've been crazy busy at work. All my assistants have been fucking crazy and going on vacation, and my schedule's been a nightmare.
How dare they go on vacation in the summertime?
Dude, it's ridiculous, man. Like, just fucking work.
Nerve.
Like, I actually had... Okay, so I had one of my assistants. I know we're going to break off topic for a second. She actually emailed to me today. She just got back from vacation 2 days ago. And she's like, hey, in October, I'm not going to have enough PTO for those days I requested. Is it still cool? And I'm like, no.
No, you have...
That's weird.
Set time off. Sean, how are you supposed to chip with that going on in the woods? All right?
No, but seriously, and then she's like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "What did you want me to say?" Like, "Oh yeah, sure, fuck, take one off. You want tomorrow off too?
You want those days?
You want tomorrow
paid?
off? Well, don't fucking come back. Like, Jesus Christ,
Worry,
like, get out
I'll
of
pay
here.
you for those days that you're not
like,
working.
this is
That's
what
fine.
happens when you hire young, incredibly good-looking people. Okay, anyways, okay, this weekend.
Let's do it.
This annual Sarchione Ford of Waynesburg Cornhole Tournament is happening during the East Sparta Homecoming. The event is being held in East Sparta, Ohio, just outside of Canton. It's $50 per team, no two advanced level players together. There's going to be $1,100 in total payouts, people. $1,100. If you have nothing going on Saturday and you're in Pennsylvania, maybe you're in Michigan, you're bored as shit, go out to the second annual Sarchione Ford East Sparta Homecoming Cornhole Tournament.
Make some money.
Make some money. Go have some fun. They're going to be giving... there's a bunch of good prizes, awesome bags going to be given away. We thought we were trying to make it. Unfortunately, now that we're going to Worlds, we also want to keep our nuts.
Happy
so,
wife, happy
yeah,
life.
correct. So we're not going to be able to go.
But, you know, there's also fireworks at 10 p.m. So bring the kids. Go see some fireworks. Go have some fun.
Call or message Carl Rausch on Facebook. Contact us if you need help registering for the event, and we can certainly point you in the right direction. We hope Carl has a fucking killer ass event, and we hope it's great weather, and we hope
Carl's a great dude, so go out and support the local guys.
And the event is rain or shine, by the way.
Yes, so
rain or shine. They have an indoor facility as well.
Bring those super slick bags, and I mean tons of bag giveaways and stuff too. Yep. So go check it out. All right, then next up, man,
August 14th, Dane.
We got ours. We got our own tourney.
I'm
August
letting you run with this.
The PJ McIntyre's first annual cornhole tournament.
Why does PJ McIntyre sound so familiar?
Because that was our OG sponsor, Sean.
They were.
They were the first to ever believe in us. Yep. It is our local watering hole, and the owner is the closest thing to a G I think we've ever met. He is an awesome man. So
he is 6'2".
And is a 6'2" Irish dream. He's a tall drink of water.
Tall drink of water. He's built like a brick shithouse. But he is like a world-class Irish dancer.
Yes, and he
just
hosts,
nimble as shit.
He runs one of the greatest Irish dance schools in the world, too.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
But as you can see if you're watching on YouTube, this is presented by Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. So we're not going to play. We're just going to, commentate and
unless nobody shows up for an advance, and then we're going to have to give out a competition because
we might as well.
Listen, if you're local to us, we know that there's a few other tournaments that day. If you look, if we know who you are, guess what? You're playing in advance.
Yes, exactly.
And we moved advanced till after all the other tournaments are over. So we're not going to start advanced until signups will start at like 5:30. We'll probably start at like 6.
Honestly, if you let us know you're showing up ahead of time, I would like to get bags rolling at 6, depending on how many people are playing.
There have been a few people that have contacted me. They let me know that they're going to be coming. So we're looking forward to it. There is an intermediate tournament at 1 p.m. The advanced tournament is going to start at 5:30. There's going to be beer specials, great food, excellent payouts. In advance, 1,500 is guaranteed to first place.
That's just first place is winning 1,500.
Boom.
And then we are doing 100% payout to the next 4 spots. All right.
Yeah.
So no sugarcoating. We're not bringing any money home. This is literally to hook up PJs, to have some beer drinking happen at their spot.
An excuse for us to get out of the house.
Exactly, and just have a good time at our favorite local spot. And then honestly, intermediate too, $500 guaranteed to first place.
Yeah,
guaranteed. So first place is bringing it home. 80% payout for the rest of it.
Yep. If you have a question about, hey, should I play intermediate or advanced, message us. Mm-hmm. Again, if I'm familiar and first of all, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably advanced.
Yes.
But let us know. We'll let you know which one to go.
And if you have buddies that in the area that want to we don't know.
The intermediate division is going to be a very backyard social type division.
Yeah.
It's going to be very
We're going to see a lot of Cleveland Fire and Cleveland Police out there, and it's just going to be a great time, man. So this is also rain or shine. I don't care. Let's just get out there and have some beers and play some cornhole.
Absolutely. All right. Well, joining us next is going to be the trio of future ACL stars. We have Berklee Pair, Austin Schlobohm, and then we have the girl with blue hair. She's known as Bella.
Bella.
She's a stud. All right. So I'm looking forward to this. We're going to do like a little roundtable type discussion, find out how they got involved, ask them some of the questions about qualifying, their thoughts about being pros next year. Should be a good time.
Heck yeah, I'm excited, man. It should be a great one.
All right. Oh, and then by the way, I should tell you, next week we're not doing anything. We're not recording.
Nope.
So we're going to be heading off to Worlds. But I had an idea, and I hadn't run it past you, so I'm going to put you on the air. I thought maybe we record an episode while we drive.
Dude,
we have 8 hours in the car. Why not?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I
right. So we'll either do a recorded episode and upload it. We might even go live on Facebook a few times while we're doing it. I haven't decided yet, but I figure we're going to be in the car for 8 hours. So we might as well do something productive.
Might as well.
All right. Well, as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.
There she is.
Welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast, where we are now joined by future ACL pros, Austin Schlobohm and Bella. We were supposed to also have Berklee Pair. He's going to be hopping on in a few minutes, but we're going to make fun of him for a second because thank you two for being on time. This is great. Berklee will be hopping on any second. But first of all, congrats to both of you guys for unofficially being pros next year. I guess we'll put it in quotes right now, right?
We read between the lines pretty well, so we're just gonna. Sorry, I will tip my cap to both of you, and we'll just say, we'll see you in the ACL next season.
Yes, hopefully.
All right, so Bella, let's start with you. You've been kind of like a polarizing figure since you've gotten in the game. I mean, you're this young chick, blue hair, you throw a fucking killer bag, you've been dominating on the scene. How long have you been playing? How did you get involved? All that kind of stuff.
It's been about 2 years. And I honestly just started playing at the lake with my sister and her husband.
Okay.
Her husband's like family's all into cornhole. Like they play every single weekend at the lake, like during the summer. So like I started going out there and I just started throwing like for fun, like not even making it to the half. And one day I played my brother-in-law in like just a random game and he beat me like really bad. I want to say like 21-0. I got so mad because I was so competitive and I was like, I'm never going to lose to him again. So then my mom like made her own boards and we bought bags from like Walmart and we just started practicing like out of nowhere. And we just went from there.
When did you first start realizing that you're like, I'm pretty good at this?
So I went to Worlds last year completely out of nowhere. I was like, I want to go because it's like the first time I've like been out of like where I live, like in Oklahoma. So I was like, okay, I'll go. So then I went and then I did actually pretty good and competitive. And I don't know. I was like, okay, so I actually kind of want to play this. So then I talked to my parents and they were like, you get 1 year to travel around with my mom. And it worked out.
So was this the whole goal where you're going to go travel around, play as much as you can, just see how good you can be and see if you could qualify then?
Yes, that was the goal. The goal was to see if I would be better. And my goal was that I wanted to beat some pros and meet a lot of pros.
So was your goal going into this though to become a pro at the end of this year, or was this just like, just by chance, it's just kind of a cool thing, an after thing?
It was to become a pro. Yeah, my goal was to be a pro.
Okay. Now, I don't think it's unofficial that you're a pro right now, right? But I think the Facebook world was a little bit rocked because your pro partner next year kind of let the cat out of his bag. So you're playing with Hunter Thorne, right?
Yes.
So
unofficially, Sean.
Yeah, unofficially. In quotes.
All right, let's not get anyone pissed off over here.
Now, how did that partnership form? Have you guys have played a few times in tournaments, correct?
Yes. So we met at the Regalia in Missouri, hosted by Mark Isley. And like, I don't know what happened, but like the whole weekend we just sort of clicked and like we had like this instant connection. So we were like, okay, let's play a couple tournaments. And we did really good in those tournaments. So we talked it over, and he was like, I really want to play pro with you next season because I have no doubt that you'll be a pro. So I was like, okay, if I make pro, then I'll be your partner.
Okay.
And we're just excited. I'm excited to see that because I know we're going to do really good next year if I make pro.
My next question is, does Hunter like regularly answer his phone when he texts him?
Yes.
All right, just wanted to make sure. So Sean, when he ghosted you and me for the podcast, he answers his phone regularly. All right, we just wanted to throw that out there. It's okay. We still love him. We think he's a hell of a thrower. We get shit happens.
Well, he's had a really good rookie season, and I think it's an interesting pairing because you guys throw similar bags. You guys play a similar game style. You guys like to manipulate the bag and everything. How much work went into it? I mean, like you said, you've only been playing for 2 years. You went from throwing like Walmart bags to being, I think you step in next year and you're going to be one of the favorites to watch, especially in the women's division right away. I mean, how much practice do you put in? I mean, it seems like you're playing like every day.
Yeah. So right now it's not like blind draws and switch holios and tournaments, but when I go to those like switch holios and tournaments, I like to play. So like every game I'll throw like a different bag. So like one game I'll throw a BG Wizard, like the other game I'll throw like a Viking. I'll just switch it up sometimes to see how I'm throwing with that day. And then it also helps at tournaments because sometimes there's different boards at the blind draws. So you'll just like
I get it.
Adapt to the boards easier.
What's your go-to bag right now? Are you a Viking? Are you still throwing Vikings? You throw Wizards? What do you like to throw?
It's honestly depends on the day.
Okay.
Because sometimes like I'll throw hard and I'll like want to throw a Viking, but then some days I'll throw soft and throw the Wizards.
Okay.
All right, we got to move on because we got Austin sitting up there patiently waiting. So, so Austin, I mean, we obviously know you for making your first splash on ESPN when you won the collegiate doubles event, pulling off a huge comeback. So I mean, how much were you playing before that tournament?
Before that tournament, I did not play that much. I actually played in the college tournament the year before. I don't think many people know that because we didn't do very well. We beat Hunter Yacklin, his partner, which was the highlight of our weekend that year. Okay. But before that year, I didn't play much. But after I seen that I could compete a little, I began to play a little bit more. But going into the college tournament, I really tried to practice more. So
you've been kind of the face of like the ACL collegiate division for like the last, I'd say like 2 years, right? I mean, is that like, do you get noticed like when you go to plays? Like, do people get nervous when they play you now because they've seen you on ESPN and stuff?
I don't know if you'd say people get nervous because I think that even everyone would acknowledge that there's a big difference between the collegiate level and the pro level, and I think everyone does know that. So I guess you wouldn't say nervous, but I think that everyone thinks that I can throw a little bit, so that at least helps me compete. So
I think everyone knows that you can throw a little bit better than a little bit now. All right, let's be honest. You throw some mean bags.
How did you first start playing? Like, how long have you been playing in general?
I started in 2018, I think. I was throwing with my girlfriend's uncle, and he was just like, "You want to start playing more?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we started looking up like local tournaments in the area. There wasn't any very close, but we started traveling like an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
And since then, I've probably played every other weekend at least to this date. So
okay. And now you are currently right now, like in this season, you're having yourself a pretty solid season in ACO. Don't be quiet. I mean, you're having a good season in ACO.
I don't know. I don't play as much ACO as I do ACL.
Okay.
I go to the close ones. I just like to play.
Okay.
So if there was a close major, I'd go. And so I played a few majors.
Pretty well at those, when they're close.
Well, I played with Caleb Hurt in a few of them. We played in one in Minnesota, so it's not hard to do well when you're playing with Caleb Hurt.
Fair enough.
All I have
to do is throw mine in. Just take it.
So in your quest to become, now we had talked about in the episode before you guys all got on, was that you were one of your qualification process. You don't have to go through the pro qualifier because your final standing in the open. I know nothing's official yet, but you're up high enough where it's pretty much kind of a done deal. How happy are you that you don't have to go through that pro qualifier?
I'm ecstatic because after receiving the email for the pro qualifier, and they were telling you had to be like perfect almost to be able to get in. And out of, I don't know, 256 players or something like that, it's impossible to be almost perfect, even if you are the greatest cornhole player in the world. So immediately after I seen that airmail, that's when I registered for the Atlanta Open. I was like, hey, I gotta get some points because I cannot do that. So
Well, I got to tell you, like when I saw like what it takes to qualify, my own heart sank. And I'm not even going to it. I'm not trying to be a pro or anything, but when I read what it's going to take in that kind of a field to qualify, I mean that might be the hardest gut check tournament that we'll ever see in cornhole.
yes, yeah. It's definitely it's one of those. I mean, you get 8 games, and if you don't play your best every game, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of players that maybe they'll be just as good as someone they'll draw, and they may not get in just because they didn't have a good game, and that's set up.
So you're sitting here on this Zoom call with us, right? And you're rocking this all
Yes.
cornhole T-shirt. All right, so I'm assuming you're an all cornhole guy. What are your go-to bags right now?
I love all slides, and if I had to pick a second, it'd be a game changer. So everyone likes to mess up the board nowadays, and I've always just been a slide in guy. So all slides have always been my go-to bag. So
Okay, all right. So you don't. What's your opinion on the whole like roll bag craze right now? Do you think it's just a fad right now? Do you think it's here to stay, or do you still think that like the best players in the world are always going to be these slide airmail type players?
I definitely think it's here to stay for a while because I think that y'all have probably seen it, and most kids who do it are younger. Because my 13-year-old little brother he's one of the best rollers that I've seen, and it irritates me to death that he does it way better than I do.
And do you try to do it?
Yes, I have a little one, and when there's a good pile up, I can get it to do it. But other than that, it's not that great. So,
Okay.
but I definitely think it's here to stay because most people that have it, I think it's the younger kids. So I think it'll be here for a while. Unfortunately, I'd much rather slide.
Or something.
Absolutely.
Because when I try to throw it, I mean it's a rarity that I actually hit the board when I try to hit my roll shot. I don't get how they can
Same for
get
me.
that wrist angle.
So going into next year, right? So obviously it's going to be a step up in competition. You know, there's going to be no more easy matches, right? I guess you can say. Like, what are your practice routines like now? And then do you plan on changing up your practice routines? Do you plan on ramping up how much you're playing going into next season? Just kind of give us a little insight on that.
I don't know if you can say I have a practice routine because I just go and throw, but I don't throw as much as I probably should per se now. But if I do for certain get in, then I would like to play every day because I play about every other day at least now. But as you can tell, as deep as the pro division is, I think that you have to throw every day or you're probably going to get smacked. So.
Now, when you say you throw every day, are we talking blind draws? Or are we talking you just go set up the boards and you throw?
Well, being in college and stuff still, it's hard for me to travel during the week. If I'm going to travel during the weekend, then I definitely have to stay and do most of my schoolwork during the week. But where I live 30 seconds from my gym, and they gave me a key, so I get to practice every night if I want to.
So when you go up, if you go up to the gym, you're by yourself. Are you just throwing bag? Are you just trying to slide? Are you setting up scenarios? Like, what do you try to do?
Truthfully, I am way too lazy to set up scenarios because that requires me to walk back and forth to set up bags. So I just throw, slide an arrow.
That's why you're a slide bag guy.
That's right, because I'm lazy and fat, but it is what it is.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir over here. I mean, you see us. We're big ass for a reason, right?
What like, let's say I'm a new player, right? I'm just starting out. What advice would you give to like a brand new player who wants to get better? Because we get a lot of people listening to the show who are, you know, maybe competitive and they're ready to make that jump into advance. Like, what's the biggest piece of advice that you would give to them?
Well, I think they need to realize that everyone is good now, and that it takes a lot of work to get to where they are, and that just because you get, I don't know per se. I guess if they're a new player, then they can't take one game and just turn away from it. If that makes sense, because players are good nowadays, and it's going to take a lot of work to get better. But it's definitely a very rewarding sport if they do put in the work to be better. So
Now, you're still a young dude. Did you play what other sports did you do growing up?
I played football and basketball till 8th grade, and then I quit and played golf. I'm actually my local high school team. We won the state championship my senior year in golf.
Really? All right. So what's your handicap?
We got
I don't know. I didn't ever do like a handicap thing. If that makes I wasn't a big golfer. If that makes sense.
what do you shoot on 18?
The day of state I shot 73. I was tied for medalist, and
Now, that's also high school, but you're going into your senior year of college now. So what are you shooting now? Because I used to be a scratch golfer. I'm nowhere near that now.
I have not played. I maybe played 3 times since my senior year in high school. So I don't have time to play so much cornhole. It's hard.
I feel it.
Cornhole takes up a lot of time. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
If we meet up for a tournament, guess what? Bring the sticks. We'll get our ass out, have a relaxing round of golf, and it's the most soothing sport in the world to me. I love playing golf.
Oh, yeah.
Like I thoroughly enjoy it.
He doesn't act like he's having a good time, but I mean, apparently it's relaxing, I guess.
So we played. You'll appreciate this. Played in a a scramble tournament this weekend with Sean and a couple of our buddies here, and we had 2 holes left, but it was getting late. I mean, we've been playing for like 6 hours, so Sean and our other buddy had to leave, so it was down to me and our one buddy Tony, and we were only 2 under going to those last 2 holes for a scramble. We ripped off 2 birdies without you guys. We finished at 4 under.
We were 300.
Oh, okay. Well, we ripped off 2 birdies on the last 2 holes, and they were easy birdies too. I finally found the iron. I plugged 2 that were like 3 feet from the pin going into the green. Made nice easy birdie putts.
I'm surprised you guys were able to do it because you guys were taking my drives all day. It seemed like.
We were, and then you left, and I finally found the drive. I mean, it all came together. It's something about you being there that just kind of threw me off. But
So what you're saying
I gotta ask you.
Okay.
So you went through the college ranks and like played in that tournament. Kind of realized the level that you needed to get to the pro level. During that time, did you ever have like a setback, like a mental setback where like you're throwing and you just felt like you threw like absolute crap for like a couple months and then all of a sudden found it?
It's funny you say that because I don't know if y'all watched any of the college tournament this year.
Yeah.
But in singles, I absolutely crapped the bed. It was maybe my worst performance since I've started playing cornhole. I couldn't throw the bag in the hole, and it was just the most frustrating weekend of my life. So, a month or 2 after that, I finally learned how to play again because from the college tournament till about 2 months after, I literally sucked just because I have no idea why. Worst timing possible, but that's probably when.
So you didn't do anything special to snap out of it. You just kind of kept throwing, just throw through it.
I took a break. Actually, do you remember the Kentucky versus the Bluegrass versus the Nation tournament?
Yeah.
Up until then, I don't know when that was. I think it was April maybe, and the college tournament was beginning of January. So honestly, I sucked until April. I played with Frank Modlin in that tournament, and we actually finished 5th, I think. And that tournament was loaded. And I took a week break, I think, before that tournament, just because I'd been throwing so terrible. I was like, something's got to change.
Okay.
So I took a break, and then that weekend, me and Frank, we played pretty well and done pretty good in that one.
So just know you're not alone. I hear that from a lot of people that like they go to this peak where they're like throwing at the top of their game for a while, and then all of a sudden like they just feel like they can't put the bag in the hole for a bit. And I'm going to use that as my excuse, for the way that I've been playing recently. But really, it's just I don't have any time to throw anymore. But I mean, you're not alone. It's a very common occurrence that we read about.
So let me ask you, one of the questions we've asked a lot of the guests we've had on this year so far is Dane actually came up with this idea of you're a golf fan, right? I'm going to show you watch it. So every major has something unique about the course, right? Like when they're at. So like you have the U.S. Open, which wants to just make it like just miserable for the players, right? Well, what do you think about making every major or every national event in cornhole have something different about, like board condition wise. So maybe the first national boards are super fast across the board. Then the second one, the boards play very slow. Maybe the third one's outdoor. Or are you more of a, you want normal conditions at every national, plain Jane, boring, peanut butter and jelly kind of stuff?
I'm a very big I'm a very big complainer. Anyone who has ever met me could probably tell you that I complain about literally everything. So, so truthfully, I would probably say I would love everything to be the same, because if everything changed every time I went to a tournament, I would probably quit because I couldn't handle it. It would drive me insane.
How was that experience in Atlanta then? Because you went to the Atlanta Open, and those conditions were all over the place. Because I'm assuming the boards, did they start off fast and then it rained and then they just stopped?
Well, I like fast boards, so for me it wasn't really an issue.
Okay.
But I did have to throw Reynolds with my little brother. But I hate playing outside.
It's not a knock on. So Jeff, calm
It's
down.
not a knock. He likes to throw all slides. Okay.
All right, so continue.
Yeah, we do like Reynolds. We do like Reynolds. I just prefer all slides. But anyways, the boards are fast, but afterwards, I don't know how much y'all know about throwing Reynolds after it rains, but for a little bit after it rained, the carpet got faster.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest thing ever.
Were you throwing a Pro Advantage?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of the best things about that carpet.
I'd always imagined that it would get slower, because you think a bag gets wet.
Yeah.
It's going to start sticking, but those things go way faster. So I suck outside. I've always sucked outside.
Now,
so
did you try flipping it when it was wet? Because I bet you that fast side turned into the slow side of that bag.
Well, I liked it fast, so it wasn't a problem to me. But my little brother, he's 13, and he likes sticky. And when the conditions changed, he's a 13-year-old, and I don't know if y'all know anything about 13-year-olds, but they're super whiny. And after they changed, he was beat. So
all in his own head. Well, at least he's only 13, so I mean, it's only a matter of time until he shows up and shows out.
Yeah, so, he's pretty good.
Let me ask you, so you're going into next season, right? We're gonna just assume that you're a pro, right? I mean, it's pretty much inevitable. What are your realistic goals for next season? Like, what do you want to get out of your first season as a
pro? I actually haven't even thought about that yet. So truthfully, I would like to compete because, as y'all know, I think the pro division this next year will probably be as deep as it's ever been, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, it's tough this year, but I think the top tier pros, they have a game or two that they can like chill out and like, hey, I can probably beat this guy. But next year, I think that all 256 players, or how many ever pros are in it, it's going to be tough. So I'd love to just compete. And to make a broadcast would be awesome. Just in the level of field that it is, because I'd always never thought that it was as tough as people talked about until Matt Guy went to the ACL. I would have bet money that when Matt Guy left the ACO that he would have won every single event that there was. I would have bet money on it. But as you can tell, it's deep. It's tough.
It's very, very deep, yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, something with Matt in singles, especially, I feel like he might get like fatigued or something.
Yeah, they're long days. They're long days, a lot of games, and he hasn't done himself favors because he's lost early a few times. He had to go all the way through the losing bracket. It's just a gauntlet. So you touched on before. Your goal is to make it on a broadcast. You've made it on the big stage before on ESPN. What's that experience like?
I love every second of it. I don't know how other people feel, but it's just awesome. Just to think, hey, I'm throwing on national television. So things that most people do in the backyard, you're doing on TV. It's pretty awesome. So.
Oh yeah. So you're going to school right now for accounting.
Yes.
Are you going to graduate this next year, or you got another year ahead of you?
I actually only have one more year. That's why I wanted to try and go pro this year, because after I start a real job, who knows how much time I'll be able to. Who knows how much time I'll really be able to travel after this year.
So all the accountants out there that listen to our show, Kyle Allen, you're one of them, aka Kevin, but we like to give him shit. But yeah, I mean, just this is a man that's gonna graduate here next year, so he's looking for a job that
So-
allows him to play cornhole.
So you're a kid, you're in college, right? You're about to graduate, you know, your life's gonna go a whole different direction. Would it be like a life goal of yours to play cornhole professionally? Like if that's realistic,
Yes.
let's say 5 years from now, ACL explodes and payouts are huge and sponsorship opportunities are great. I mean, is that like a life goal of yours? Like you'd love to play cornhole competitively, like professionally, like full time?
Yeah. Yes. If I could immediately quit college and just play professional cornhole for the rest of my life, I wouldn't even think about it. Wouldn't even think about it. So.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. That's good. That's
It's
good.
like, I mean, if we could quit our jobs and just do this podcast, I mean, it'd be the same deal.
We're trying, man. I mean, it's been an uphill battle so far, though, because clearly we're not going to make money playing cornhole.
No,
so-
we're not.
Hi.
Okay. Well, so
Oh,
Bella's
hey-
phone
hey,
died,
Bella.
but it's okay. Austin did a great job holding it down. So Austin,
Sorry.
we'll give your voice a little bit of a break. We're still waiting for
Okay.
Berklee to hop on. Apparently, he's trying to figure it out. I told him Damon Dennis figured it out. So if he can't figure it out, I'm making fun of him all
There's
weekend at work.
endless-
There's a
endless shit.
problem.
Absolutely.
It's
So,
getting endless
so
shit.
Bella, let's hop back to you for just a second. We had asked Austin a
Okay.
question before. It's a question we ask a lot of our guests. Is if every national event next year had a different board condition. So let's say like the first one was all the boards were really fast, and the second one the boards were crazy slow. Maybe the third event is outdoors. Is that something that you would be in favor of, or are you more of you want all the conditions to stay neutral all the time? Oh, we lost her. All right. This interview is
It's
Austin.
been-
You've been a
it's been
champ.
rough. You have been a champ.
I'll try.
Is your
I'll
back
try.
getting sore right now?
No, it's okay.
All right. So while we're waiting for Bella to hop back, I'm going to ask you one of my favorite questions. Okay.
Okay.
If you had to make a Crew Cup dream team, right? Who is your Crew Cup dream team?
Do I have to be on this team or no?
You don't have to be. You can if you want to be, but you don't have to be.
My Crew Cup dream team would probably be. I'm a big Caleb Hurt fan, so Caleb Hurt has to be on there.
Okay.
Good Matt guy, obviously, because I would argue with anyone any day that he's still probably greatest of all time. So, Caleb Hurt, Matt guy, Trey Birchfield, and who would be my fourth? I guess you'd have to go with Jamie Graham. So, I think that would be my four.
It's a smart four.
Sean Duggar is going to be crushed.
He will be crushed.
We're in a big fuss right now because I told him that one of my local, some guy that I play with every night, could probably beat him up right now. He's
Is he
pretty
any
upset
good?
with me.
Is Duggar any good?
Duggar's pretty good. He has a family, I guess y'all know, so he doesn't get to play cornhole as much as he'd like. But
Don't make
I've never
excuses
seen
for him.
well, I've never seen someone not play for every 3 weeks and still compete with everyone around him. So
Well,
I
that's
guess
good.
he has. Yeah.
Okay. You've never seen us play.
Yeah, I was just saying, I get out like once every 3 months.
Yes, it's not that impressive. You're not missing much.
Once every 3 months. Let's see, what else do I have here? So next year, you're going to be a pro. You have anyone on the horizon to be a doubles partner? Are you allowed to say, or what? You have things in the works, or what's up?
I've been talking to a few people. There's one guy that is above all, but obviously he is much more important to me in the cornhole world than I am. So I have to wait on him. I'm not allowed to say anything. But so I'm not really allowed to say anything. But I do have someone that I've been talking to, and hopefully he picks me. But if he doesn't, I understand because he is who he is. So
Okay, all right. We'll try to read between the lines as much as we can. All right, I'm gonna try to figure this out, but yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead. We're gonna pause this just for a second, and then let the other
Okay.
two hop back on, and then because we've been a freaking champ, so we're gonna pause
Yeah,
this
we'll just
for a second.
pause the recording.
okay, awesome.
Okay, so we're back now. Austin's back was getting quite sore. Berklee, thank you for joining us, man.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. We had to talk a little shit about you earlier, just for all the stuff you were putting us through behind the scenes.
Honestly, we had Damon Dennis on the show, and he figured it out. So I mean, that's
Wow. Yeah, I do feel bad now. I do feel terrible now.
It's all good. Hey, so let's just jump right into it, man. First of all, congratulations. I guess unofficially on the pro status for next year. I know nothing's official yet, but I mean, based on your rankings, everything's looking good. So you excited for next season?
Yeah, 100%. I'm been looking forward to this for a while, and I've had so many people ask me this year, why wasn't I pro this year? And I sort of want to take a year back and just sort of play whatever I wanted to. But now I'm more than ready to get into the pro division, and they've, got the money going higher and higher, every week. I feel like now, so I feel like I'm picking a perfect time to finally decide to go pro, and I feel like I've made a name for myself this year so far, and hopefully even bigger name next year when I actually am a pro.
Hey, I got to tell you, Austin actually asked us if we knew who you were before this season, and I am delighted to say that Sean and I both knew who you were well before this season. So
yeah,
you should feel proud of your game long before than what you've done this year, because, sir, you are touted as one of the best players in the country.
Well, thank you. I try to everywhere I go always, make a good statement, regardless of what it is. And I feel like this year, and like I've said many times before, I've been fortunate to play in an area where, it's like you either try to compete with the best, that I'm around, or like you said, you don't get talked about if you lose to these guys, and you start competing with James Baldwin and Alan Rockwell and Matthew Stout, Mike Harvey, Matt Moore, and people like that. Your name sort of jumps up from the bottom, and it's sort of like, oh, who is this guy? Compete with those. So this year I've worked really hard this year and haven't looked back, and don't plan on looking back anytime soon. So that's been a really, really gracious to play around all these guys every week.
So let me ask you, so being, I guess, considered one of the top, non-pro players in the country, and then going into your pro season, do you look at that as having added pressure at all? Like you have to live up to certain expectations?
Yeah, a little bit, because I know my name has been talked about, a lot the last, couple of months. But yeah, I would say so, because, I guess the expectation, part of it, just like all the, great players, all the non-pros this year, like Austin and himself, I'm sure he's made a name for himself, the last couple of years. And I'm sure all these non-pros coming in, everybody talks about, everybody's going to be looking at them just as much as the pros that have already been there and already making a name for themselves. They're looking at somebody to shake up the field, somebody different to come in and maybe surprise a few people.
So let me ask you, how long, you said like this last year, you've really been focusing, trying to improve your game. In general, how long have you been playing?
3 years last month. So I've been playing since about June 2018. And this year was my first full year ever playing ACL. Okay. I think I'd been to maybe 2 regionals before last September. So this full season has been my first real true year of playing anything ACL. I've never been to Worlds before. I've never been to a national before. And next week will be my first Worlds at ACL. And yeah, this year, playing all the regionals, the Alan Rockwell runs and Trey Kelly, and people around my area, it's really been helpful to me, because going to those things is like a small national, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
And then it just really helps me prepare for a bigger event. And then playing with a lot of these guys too, a year ago, if you told me, I'd be playing with Frank Modlin or Alan Rockwell or Matthew Stout, any of those names, are some of them asking me to play with them, I would have never thought. But when I first started winning regionals in my area, it was people were like saying, okay, well, maybe he can play a little bit, things like that. So, and then also playing all these big tournaments this year, bring your own partner stuff, a lot of regionals, conference tournaments. I've played with so many different people this year. It's unreal. But this year I really wanted to play with whoever, whenever I wanted to. And I've played with a lot of pros, and I've had a lot of fun this year, but I'm looking forward to this upcoming season and, playing pro division and doubles and singles and hopefully doing well in both.
Down at Worlds, who are you playing with? Aren't you playing with our boy?
Yeah, I'm playing with Victor Glass down at Worlds.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Me and him, have a similar style when it comes to throwing a sticky bag, throwing a rollover shot or whatever. But
what do you normally throw? I thought you were a game changer guy.
Yeah, I do like game changers a lot.
Okay.
just depends on who I'm throwing with. Now, I'm sure. I mean, if you ever see some, videos, I'm tagged on Facebook or something. I've played Eric Davis before, Reynolds. I threw Pro Advantage old style Reynolds a lot too.
Okay.
Just depends on what I'm feeling. Just depends on what I'm feeling on certain days. But just like in Pennsylvania, of course, me and Trevor played together, and I felt really comfortable with the game changers, and he did too. And just like when I played with Frank, of course, with the game changers, or somebody like Jay Corley. I've played a lot with him this year. We've won 3 or 4 regionals together this year in our area, and we'll throw game changers, something like that. But I will say I've thrown more game changers and doubles than I have anything.
Okay.
And I've sort of switched it up. This year was sort of like a feeling out year to see what kind of bag I like to throw. Because I think this year total I've won 13 regionals this year in singles, and I think just about I'd say probably 3 or 4 I threw all slides. The other 5 or 6 I threw Reynolds, and the other 4 or 5 I threw game changers. But I will say probably most of the year in singles I was throwing my Reynolds really, really well. But I do like game changers for sure. But I really don't have a specified bag. I'm like, okay, I got to throw this. I'm really open to throwing anything my partner wants to throw, or board conditions, all the things that play into that.
All right. So obviously, you're a younger guy. Cornhole hasn't been your whole life; it's just been the last 3 years. What were you involved with when you were younger? Were you an athlete when you were younger?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually a pretty decent basketball player in high school, and that's what I dedicated most of my time from when I was 6, 7 years old up until I graduated was basketball. And I was a good baseball player too. I played a little bit of everything really. I tried football. I really didn't like that. I was a decent golf player for a couple of years. But basketball was
all right. Here's the thing. You just said golfing. You said golfing. So me and Dane, you and Austin are gonna have to hit the course sometime because Austin apparently is a decent golfer.
Oh my God, yeah, no doubt. I ain't no good no more. I wasn't ever really good to begin with, but
neither are we.
It doesn't matter. It's all about just having some fun, crushing some beer.
But it's sort of interesting. You mentioned other things I was interested in too. So when I graduated high school in 2018, I picked up cornhole and bowling at the same time, and I still bowl to this day.
Really? Okay.
So bowling has really been. I really enjoy bowling, and I used to bowl a lot, like I practice cornhole a lot, but and I still do bowl just about once every 7 to 10 days. And I always joke with Eric Zockline because I know he's sort of like the cornhole bowler.
Yeah.
He's like real big in bowling. I joke with him in Kentucky. I was like, man, we're going to bowl together sometime. And I've had a lot of big accomplishments in bowling already in just under 3 years. And some of my friends that I bowl with want me to go pro in bowling, that kind of stuff like that. But I just don't have the interest like I do cornhole in that. But bowling's always there. Cornhole is right now for me.
Well, we'll take you on for golf, but when it comes to bowling, my range is anywhere from like a 90 to like a 240.
Yeah.
So I have zero consistency when it comes to bowling. So
yeah,
I'd rather take the golf.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I even played golf. Probably been at least a year and a half, 2 years. But somebody asked me all that.
Virginia?
So I live. Yeah, so I'm sort of hard to explain. So I live about 15 miles north of the Virginia line, or either I'm in North Carolina actually right now. So we have a house in North Carolina as well.
Okay.
That I'm back and forth with. So both of my houses are about 50 miles apart.
Okay.
So I'm always busy traveling back and forth. So I'm really in between North Carolina and Virginia about every couple of days.
I'm just trying to find the problem with golfing in Virginia or North Carolina.
I played when I was.
We had like 4 months to go.
4 months? Yeah, no, over here, oh gosh, yeah, we probably have 9 months so you can play golf in decent weather. I'd say from every bit of November, up until, I'd say every bit. You can pretty much here. It doesn't really get cold really until December here.
What's your decent weather though? Like, I mean, I'm willing to golf in like 40 degrees.
What's our decent weather?
Yeah.
I'd say,
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'd say when it gets like December or November, I'm fine with 60-degree days, 65-degree days. I'd say when it gets like below 50, 45, something, I don't even want to be outside. But
60-degree days,
I know
that's shorts weather for me. All right.
Hey, so
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying I think this past year we might have. It wasn't many days we saw under 40 or so. I mean, sometimes Virginia is the craziest state. I swear. I mean, some years we won't. We'll see 3 months of 30 below, and then we'll be like next year be like, oh, you might see a week of 30 below. It's just you never know down here.
So let me ask you. So what are your expectations? You're going into your first year as a pro. What are your realistic expectations this first year?
Um, I want to definitely be top 10 in singles and doubles, no doubt. I think with how I'm throwing right now and, me having a lot of experience, because I think I've been to 7 opens, I think it was this year. So I think, and that was a big step for me because, I'd never really been traveling anywhere. And like I said, I went to New York, first time I've ever been to New York in my life. First time I've been to Kentucky in my life. First time I went to Pennsylvania ever before. So going to those open events and being majority of the big name pros there helped me get some experience playing against those guys and just seeing them, firsthand. So I think I have a lot of experience in the regard of, okay, well, this person isn't, exactly new to throw against, that kind of thing. So I want to be top 10, but I mean, obviously I want to finish number 1 in both categories. But I think realistically, I'm going to have to, make a big statement coming in singles first and then doubles and then hopefully finish top 10 in both. That's what my goal is for sure. But obviously everybody wants to be number 1 and I'm going to put the work in and time in that, most of the ones that are up there are going to do the same thing as well.
So is it your, like, let's say right now, is it like life goals to be able to play this game full time, like make a living doing it?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I work full time as well, but I do find a lot of time.
Do you own your own business?
Yes, I have my own landscaping business that I work with a lot over here at in North Carolina. So I do that. I do that full time as well. But being, like I said, owning my own business helps me out a lot. Being able to sort of, schedule everything else around. Like if I want to leave for an open or something, I know when I have to get my work done, before I leave on a Friday or Saturday or something. So usually I don't get too behind and I can travel when I want to, but occasionally I'll be like, well, I can't make this tournament or something like that. But like somebody asked me before about practicing, I never practice by myself. I feel like I never get any better like that.
Okay.
So use like a weekly blind draw is like my practice to me. So I usually try to make a blind draw, about maybe 2-3 times a week. To be able to, that's my practice. Me going outside and playing by myself, I feel like just I'm not gonna focus on trying to work on something. I'm just gonna throw to be throwing.
All right.
And me myself, that doesn't help me any.
So you have a lofty goals next year of being top 10 in singles and doubles. Obviously doubles,
Yeah.
You need to have a pretty good partner. I mean, do you have anyone in your crosshairs who you're hoping to partner up with, or you've been talking to people? Like what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I can't even begin to count how many people have asked me that. I still haven't decided yet, to be honest with you, and I think I'm gonna wait till after Worlds to see, I think that's when most of the pros now really decide, okay, well, that's when because they obviously wouldn't want to make a change before Worlds and just basically ruin the whole last tournament.
Yeah.
But I know you guys, have talked to Trevor a lot, and me and Trevor, are real close friends now, and that's definitely a possibility. And I know he's going to the qualifier.
He's going to be qualifier is no joke, man. That's a gauntlet.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be. And then also, from what I'm hearing, I don't know who else. I don't know which pros that are now pros. I know some are really close to being able to get in or not to the top 50 in doubles or top 100 in singles. So. Right. I won't really know. I think a few I know personally really won't know if they have to requalify until Worlds because they're so close.
They're not gonna know until Saturday night. Some of them
like Friday or Saturday. That's what I was thinking. So I mean, I think they said was it 520 or 510 spots now that people that are qualifying, and then you got these extra ones that don't know or if they're gonna make it or not. So I mean, that's my favorite part of the whole week. I think is gonna be really seeing who's going to be able to fight through. I mean, that's a lot of players, and that's going to take a lot of time to narrow it down to 32.
It's going to be the best tournament cornhole's ever seen, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree 100%.
the most
I
on the
really,
line. I mean, how can you? I mean, it's what everyone's been working towards, and then the ones that had been there that couldn't continue. I mean, they're going to have a massive chip on their shoulder. So I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be the most
they are.
cornhole we've ever seen, ever played.
They are, and like I said, with my ranking right now, I was almost like, that's great. I don't have to play in that. That's another tournament I don't have to prove myself in, because I just watching that, and I'm sure some of the first game matchups are going to be crazy. I mean, just like a draw, what I call a crowd drawing match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be my favorite part, and I know Trevor, he's looking forward to that. And I know.
Now, when are you getting down to Worlds?
I'm probably going to go down Tuesday is what I'm aiming towards. I know, because I'll be playing, the first event I play in is co-ed, which will be Wednesday at 3:00, I think. So
Okay.
I'll be going down.
Who are you playing?
I'll be going down Alyssa Powell,
Okay.
which is I don't know if you know her or not. That's DJ Powell. He's a pro. It's his sister.
Yeah.
Me and her are real close, and they're from the Richmond area and the Virginia area, and she throws really well. She could be a pro, and if she decides to, she's that good. And yeah, we're gonna play together in that, and hopefully do well. And I mean, we've played together before. We've known each other for years and years, and we have a connection, no doubt. And so I'm looking forward. That's my first event I'll be playing in. I think that's Wednesday, at like 3:00 or something like that. But I'll probably go down Tuesday, and then I don't know. I've lost track of when the other events are, but I'll be down there from Tuesday all the way till the end of the qualifier. Because I definitely want to see the qualifier. That's going to be I think the most watched event of the whole week of live people there, actually.
I'm hoping for lots of live streams, because we'll probably only be able to catch like the first half of it before we have to head home, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
hoping
you
for
guys,
lots of live
you guys are definitely far. I already told myself, I said, I'm only about 3 or 4 hours away. I said, I'm going to stay for it. I got to see who comes out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's going to be like I already said, it's that once it gets down to the singles part of it, like when you have the first two that are 8.
Oh yeah.
Then, the next ones are qualified at 7.
Yeah, that's
those last matches, man.
There's so many
gut wrenching.
There's so many people that I'm thinking of right now. Just like I feel like I keep thinking of more and more and more names. I'm like, well, the more names I think of, that's going to be a couple people that don't get in. And it's
crazy to think of.
That's going to be
everyone's gonna know someone that misses out at the end of the day. I mean, it's
everyone. Yeah, you're exactly right. And just thinking like last year, I don't know how many people were in last year, but I knew probably 4 or 5 people personally that got in. And last year was a great competition crowd wise. But this year, unbelievable how many people are excited. That's why I knew that. I said I knew this year. I said if I finished at a good spot, then I knew I wouldn't have to qualify. And I said I want to get to the spot where I earn my spot before even having to actually play through the qualifier.
Yeah,
that's why this year I went to as many opens as I could. And yeah, that's what I thought too. And I think the only points I'm possibly missing, me and Mike Ferreira finished 4th in New York. That was my highest doubles open finish.
Okay.
And then in conference, our first conference, I finished 3rd in singles and 2nd in doubles. So that's the only positions I'm missing points from, because I think I have 38.82 or something. I think Jamie's number 1. He has 38.90. So I'm only about 8 points behind first, because me and Storm Hogue are tied for 5th right now. So
yeah,
and I think everything's set for that, for open standings, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what this year. I was fortunate enough to where I played good enough this year. And like I said at the beginning of this year, I had no idea the points even worked. And when I figured out, okay, so they, the regional, they take your top 5 singles and top 5 doubles. So my first goal was to be able to win 5 regionals in doubles and singles. And that was my first step. And then of course me winning the open in Fredericksburg, that really put my name out there to be like, okay, he's beat a lot of good players. He might be something in the future. That kind of thing. So this upcoming year, the next month or two is going to be a big learning experience for me, and also be a big jump forward for me as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be a whirlwind. But all right, we're gonna switch up some gears here. All right, so Berklee, we have a question we love to ask people, and we would love to get your answers for it. So it's who is your dream team crew cup? You can be included or exclude yourself.
Dream team crew cup. That's a really good question. I'm trying to think now. Somebody asked that question the other day on one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and I tell you a good crew cup I'd like to see, and I'm included, would be me, Jamie Graham, Trevor Brooks, and Frank Modlin.
Okay.
I like it.
I think
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think all four of us, we all four know each other really well. All can throw the same bags, I think. And of course, Trevor and Jamie haven't, being close as it gets, and me and Frank, getting close this year as well. And I think we would play really well together, us four together.
All right. So honestly, Austin, if you're there, we'll bring you back over, because we got some listener questions that we figured we'd rip off to both of y'all. And Sean, what you got?
All right. So the first listener question, John Hostler wants to know, what was the moment that you guys realized that being a pro was realistic? Like, was there like one key moment where you realized, like, damn, like I'm good enough to make it? Was it like a first regional win? Was it like the collegiate event? Like, when was that moment? Austin, go for it.
You go first. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
I played Matt Guy in the Kentucky versus Bluegrass tournament, and I actually beat him. And I didn't actually think I was any good until that weekend. So
okay,
that's what done it for me.
Hey, that would be my moment too.
Yes, I was 100% agree.
Berklee, what about you?
Yeah. My first defining moment, I'd say, was I actually credit Matthew Stout to telling me this. I remember it was the first regional we had of the year last September, and he came to me. I think we played a blind draw the night before, and he said, man, it's yours to lose. He said, the way you're playing right now, he saw me really close. He saw the way I was playing in singles, and that next game was our first regional, the first advanced regional I'd ever played, and I ended up winning. And of course, the regional wins, you get, but I'd say definitely, if not that, then winning the Open in Fredericksburg. Playing against Eric Davis, James Baldwin, people like that, and playing Caleb Hurt for the first time ever, that really made it to where, okay, I can play and I can feel like I can beat just about anybody there is.
Okay.
All right, so we had a great listener question coming from Nicholas Howell, and it ties into the new Space Jam release, with LeBron James in it. But all right, so
which was terrible, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it.
It was LeBron should just stick to basketball. He's not a good actor. But anyways, so he asked, if you get space jammed and the world depends on you to beat two aliens in cornhole that have been given the extra abilities of Matt Guy and Trey Birchfield, what Looney Tunes character do you choose to be on your team to beat them, and why?
That's a great question.
Oh my God, I have absolutely no idea.
Sean and I will answer this one too.
I mean, the best athlete of all of them is Layla, right? So I'm going Layla Bunny.
Sorry, so Sean threw out Layla Bunny because she's the best athlete of all of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take someone who I think could really tear apart some of the rules in the ACL, and that would be the Tasmanian Devil. I think Taz could sit there and chuck a bag and then like jump across the line and maybe like shred it to pieces. And who knows how to score shit like that. So I would go with Taz myself.
Yeah, I think you literally took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that too. I was about to say the Tasmanian Devil, but I didn't have a reason. But I just feel like you're exactly right. That's what I would have to pick if I had to pick that.
I think you got to go with Layla too. Because
Yeah, I mean,
she's just an athlete.
she's a
You
baller,
have to.
right? I mean, she just strokes, man. I mean,
Yeah, that's a really good one too. Though.
You guys are
That's,
so simple.
Yeah, they both have their.
I'd rather fuck shit up and let other people figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bud Wilson wants to know, what's the biggest mental hurdle you guys have had to overcome?
Biggest. Austin, you want to take this one?
Sure, I can try.
He looks thrilled.
I think we talked about this earlier, but the college cornhole tournament, I was so excited after I'd won the first year. I was just so excited to go up and just play well the next year, and I just sucked all weekend, and after that, I sucked for like the next 4 months. So honestly, that was the worst. Like mentally, I didn't even think I should play the game anymore, just because I did not throw like I used to, and I had to take a break. And then the week after is when I beat Matt Guy. So I think the few months where I just was the worst ever for me was probably my answer. So
Fair enough.
Berklee, come on, you got to answer it.
No, that's Austin. That's a good one there. He said, but if I had to pick, I'd say so. This past year, I've messed a lot with my my throwing style. I was stepping full time, and then I stopped. So I'd say back in October, November, when I was actually still playing ACO, I had a lot of people in my area basically out to get me to where they didn't want me stepping over the line. So then this whole big turmoil started with ACO making it where you can't step over the line, and you're basically a follow through throw. And back then I would step over the line every single time. And so I'd say after that point, I'd say about December or January, I changed my normal throw to just standing still. And I'd say mentally that was hard for me, because I feel like in my mind I had gotten really good stepping full time, even though I stepped over the line. Of course, legally, I was letting the bag go. But I'd say seeing people in my own area not supporting me and really just against me, I feel like jealousy. Honestly. And it was all ACO people. It wasn't any ACL people. Everybody from ACL has been behind me. But back when I was still playing ACO a little bit, it was like it was sort of hard for me to get over that. It was like, wow, I finally just found out, that I can, throw really well, and found something that worked for me. And now I'm being told I can't do that anymore. So even though ACL, you can still do that, I went ahead and switched full time. But I think it took me a while to transition. But I think once I did, I finally got where I could do both, and I didn't have a problem with it.
I see. So you're the reason for the ACL rule. I get it. All right. So
yeah, it had just started. It just started like right when I was doing it too. It's been probably last September, October, and then after that, I just didn't even play ACO anymore. I was like, I'm gonna be ACL full time this season anyway. Just stay with ACL and have fun with it, and I enjoy ACL way more.
Well, all right. So Berklee, Chase Richardson has a question just for you. And honestly, Austin,
Okay.
I feel like you might be offended that it wasn't directed towards you as well. Feel free to answer if you want. But they want to know, what's the biggest bass you've ever caught?
The biggest bass I've ever caught. When I was so this probably been 7 or 8 years ago. So we actually have a lake house in Lake Gaston, North Carolina. So I've been fishing a lot out there. I've never caught one real big. I've caught one 6 or 7 pounds when I was about 13 or 14. But nothing bigger than that. So I'd say somewhere between 6 and 7. It's been 7, 8 years ago though, in a lake.
Okay.
Austin, you
fisher?
You got a fish?
not much
line?
of a fisherman.
Neither, man. Sorry.
I think I've eaten much larger than a 7-pound salmon in my life, so I think I beat Berklee on that, because I didn't have to catch it, but it was served to me, so I'll take it.
All right, so this is a pretty important question. I'm interested on because you guys live in different areas. All right, what place has the best chicken sandwich? And this was by Jason Ricketts.
Mm. Mm,
I gotta go with Chick-fil-A.
Like-
All right, you're allowed back on. You're good. All right.
yeah, I was gonna say Chick-fil-A, but I kind of like Popeye's chicken sandwich a little bit better.
All right, yeah. I mean,
It's another money one. We have all the above in our
Yeah.
area. They're both good. I mean, if you see us, I mean, we clearly enjoy a good chicken sandwich. All right,
I don't know if y'all have tried KFC's, but it's pretty awesome too.
KFC's isn't bad either. I mean, is there really a bad option out there?
I don't know about you, but all the KFCs are kind of the not so good areas around here, so I don't go to KFC all that often around here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's really a bad option in there.
Good. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for both of you for joining us. We're gonna let the folks go at home, but we wish you guys the best of luck. Bella kind of her phone died apparently, and she just wasn't interested in joining us, so it's all good. But we greatly appreciate you guys taking time out of your day and hopping on with us. Looking forward to meeting you guys in person at Worlds. Should be a good time. It's an epic event. It's our first World Championship where we're going to, so hopefully you guys will be on the boards that we're calling sometime. That'd be kind of cool. We're going to be commentating on the canine cornhole court the whole time, so we're pretty excited for that. So we're excited to meet you guys in person. Thank you very much for joining us. If you guys ever need anything from us, just let us know. But we'll have you guys hop on just for a minute. We'll let the folks go at home.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Later.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.